so far. Today we will be doing our grade 4 English lesson on irregular plural nouns. So we'll be doing our grade 4 English lesson on irregular plural nouns. And before we start with our lesson on irregular plural nouns, we are going to log in to aplusstudents.ca. You're going to log in with your username as well as your password. Once we've logged in with the username and password, you're going to select the subject of language arts. And then we choose grade 4. All right, so then we choose grade 4, right? Once you've chosen grade 4, you're going to scroll down up until you get to the chapter of irregular plural nouns. So irregular plural nouns. All right, so in our previous lesson, we did regular plural nouns, right? And we said with regular plural nouns, right? So we have a word that is singular, right? And then we also have a word that is plural. Singular is referring to one person, animal, or thing, right? Or even a place, right? And then we basically just add S, we add an S to it, and then it basically shows that it is more. For example, one ball, two or more balls, which means that we just added an S. One laptop, two or more laptops, right? We just added an S. But now when it comes to irregular plurals, right, there's basically no rules that we follow, right? You're going to have to know how the plural form changes. So our chapter for today is irregular plural nouns. We are doing the subject of English or language arts, grade 4, and our lessons that we are going to be focusing on today is the noun singular or plural? So we will identify if the noun is singular or plural, and then we are going to form and use irregular plurals, right? All right, so basically, irregular plural nouns are nouns that do not become plural by just adding an S or ES. So with regular plurals, right, we just added S or ES to our, for example, our singular word, and then we formed the plural form, right? The plural word that either shows two or more things, right? People, animals, or places. So, as most nouns in the English language do, so most nouns in the English language, if we just want to form the plural, and then we either add an S or we add an ES, right? So, it's basically just a rule that one follows. So, that is probably something that you are quite familiar with. However, it is totally different when it comes to irregular plurals. For example, right? Now, with irregular plural nouns, right, because there is no, we don't just add an S or ES to the plural form. For example, man, one man, right, is men. So one man, but if we refer to more than one man, then we say men. So the man walked to the store, right? But now, if we want to make mention of two or more, then we say the men walked to the store, or two men walked to the store, or three men are reading a book, or four men are playing football, right? So we don't say man's. Man's is incorrect. We don't say man's at all. So we don't just add an S. So we don't add an S or an ES to show the plural, right? So the wording kind of changes. So one man, two or more men, not mans, right? The same with women. We have women, right? Woman is women. And if we spell that word, it is WOMAN for one woman and WOMEN for more than one woman, right? So woman is women, right? Almost the same as man and men. We don't say woman's if we refer to more than one woman. That is incorrect, right? So we don't just add an S or an ES. You are just going to have to remember each one. So basically, some plurals are irregular, right? They're not regular. We don't just add an S or an ES. And they don't just follow rules. So you need to remember each one. For example, one child, right? The child is playing the piano. The child plays the piano. So the one child plays the piano, right? But now, if we are making mention of more than one child, then we say children, right? So now the children, or the two children, or the three children are playing the piano. Not two childs, not three childs, right? We don't just add an S. Can you see the wording changes, right? From child and more than one child is children. Mouse, right? One mouse ate the cheese. And that one mouse went to fetch his friends or his cousins. So now there are 10 mice in the house. Mice. One mouse, two or more mice, not mouses, right? Because mouses are incorrect. Mouses are incorrect. So we say mice. And then we already made an example of woman. One woman, more than one women, not women's. Right? All right. So that is our definition as well as a few examples of irregular plural nouns, right? And we are doing our lesson on a+students.ca, right? So if you do want to go back and go over the tutorial lessons, right here we have the chapter of irregular plural nouns. You can go to the subject of English, which is language arts, grade 4, and then the focus lessons for today is the noun singular or plural, and to form and use irregular plurals. All right, so now we're going to a+students.ca. So we're going to a+students.ca, and we are going to our very first lesson, which is the noun singular or plural. So we see that some plurals are irregular. So some plurals are irregular, right? And they don't follow rules. So you are just going to have to remember it because there is no S or ES that we need to follow in order to show that this is now more than one, or it is referring to more than one, right? And we made an example of child. It is one child, and more than one child is children, right? So more than one child is children. So it's not childs, it is children, right? One child, but two or more children, not childs. All right. So now if we look at the our first sentence, right? Is the noun in both singular or plural? So before we answer that question, if it's singular or plural, remember we said singular refers to one, either one person, either one animal, either one place, or it can be one thing, right? So it refers to one. And plural is anything that is two or more. It refers to two or more people, places, animals, or things, right? And that is plural and singular. So now we are going to say if the noun in bold is either singular or if it is plural. The officer jumped to his feet when Mr. McLean arrived. So the officer jumped to his feet when Mr. McLean arrived. So feet, is feet singular or is feet plural? We need to say if the word feet is singular or plural. Feet. And if you are saying it's singular, then you need to give me the plural form. And if you're saying it is plural, and then you need to give me the singular form of that word. So feet. Is feet singular or is feet plural? So this is on aplusstudents.ca, and we are doing the chapter of irregular plural nouns. So undergrade 4, irregular plural nouns and language arts. So that is the chapter that we are doing, irregular plural nouns. All right. So feet, right? Is feet singular or is feet plural? And if we look at feet, right? Feet is plural, right? And why do we say that feet is plural? Because feet refers to more than one, right? So the singular form of feet is foot. So you have one foot, right? It's either my left foot or my right foot, right? It's the one foot. But now, if we are making mention of more than one foot, right? Or we're saying my left and right, then we say it is feet, right? So one foot, and then we have feet, two or more feet, or both feet, right? So basically, feet is plural because it refers to more than one foot. The women encouraged the students to read more. The women encouraged the students to read more. So, women. If you look at the word women, is women singular or plural? Women, WOMEN, is that singular or is that plural? Women. The women encourage students to read more. If you look at the example, right? Or if you man, right? If we think of man, we said man is one man, right? This refers to one man. And then if we are making mention of more than one man, then it is men, right? Where we add the, it now changes that the A changes to an E for men, right? So the same with women. Woman refers to one woman, and if we refer to more than one woman, then we say we men with an E in. So women with an E in, it is plural, right? It is plural because the singular form is woman, right? The same with man and men, women and women. So woman is the singular form with the A in, and women with the E is referring to plural. So this is plural, right? So this is plural. And the singular form of women is woman with an A, right? All right, tooth. Eric's tooth hurt when he bit into the candy apple. So Eric's tooth hurt when he bit into the candy apple. So tooth, is tooth singular? Are we referring to one tooth, or are we referring to more than one? So tooth, is that singular or plural? Tooth. So the word tooth, is it singular or plural? Tooth. Eric's tooth hurt when he bit into the candy apple. So tooth, is tooth referring to one, which is singular, or referring to more than one, which is plural? Tooth. So tooth is basically referring to one tooth, right? So one tooth being singular. So we can say this is singular, right? So it is one tooth, more than one. So two or more teeth. So one tooth, and you get two teeth, right? So tooth is singular. So tooth is singular, and the plural form of tooth is teeth. So teeth is like when we refer to maybe two or more of your teeth in your mouth. So teeth. All right, so that is singular and plural nouns. Now we are going on to our test. We're going to begin our test where we are going to say if the noun is either singular or plural. So we're going to look at the sentence. The word in bold, we are going to have to say if that word in bold is either singular or if the word in bold is plural. My aunt said that the gentleman helped her. So my aunt said that the gentleman helped her. So gentleman, gentleman. Is gentleman referring to one man, or is it referring to more than one man? Gentleman. It's like saying gentleman. Gentleman. Is that singular or is it plural? So gentleman, is it plural or is it singular? Gentleman. can look specifically at the word man. That will tell you if it's either singular or if it is plural. So my aunt said that the gentleman helped her. All right, so which means that if we choose if it's singular or plural, and then we will say gentleman is singular. Especially if you look at the word man, right? Man being singular, so singular. Yes, so singular, well done. So singular is correct. Eric's tooth hurt when he bit into the candy apple. Tooth. Eric's tooth. Is it singular or is it plural? Singular or plural? The tooth. So Eric's tooth hurt. Are we referring to one tooth or is it more than one in his mouth? Eric's tooth hurt when he bit into the candy apple. Is it singular or is it plural? Tooth. All right, so if we a tooth, right, it refers to only one tooth, right? So which means that it is singular and singular is correct. So well done. Singular is correct. The children had a wonderful time at the carnival. Children. So is children referring to one person or referring to more than one person? Is it singular or plural? If we are saying children, does it mean we are only referring to one person or are we referring to more than one person? So children, is it singular or plural? Children, singular or plural? Is it referring to one person or does it refer to more than one person? So if it refers to more, is that, do we call it singular or do we say it is plural? So if it refers to more, is it singular or plural? Because more is correct, but do we say it is singular or do we say that is plural? So children refers to more than one person, right? Which means that it is plural. So more is correct, but we should also say that it is plural because plural refers to two or more. Two or more people, places, animals, or things, and singular refers to only one. So more is correct. So plural it is. Where did the woman buy the material for the dress? Woman. Woman. Is woman singular or is woman plural? Woman. Is woman singular or is woman plural? Woman. So where did the woman buy the material for the dress? Woman. All right, so if we look at the word woman, and then we are going to say that woman, it refers to singular. Yes, so well done. Woman is singular. It refers to only one woman that went to go and buy the material. So woman being singular is correct. So well done. So that is correct. The last one. Many animals have claws on their feet. So the word feet, is feet singular or is it plural? Feet, is it singular or plural? Feet. All right, so feet, right? It refers to more than one foot. So singular would be foot, and the plural form of foot is feet. So feet is plural, and well done. Good job. Plural is correct. All right, so you will continue and do the rest of the tests on your own. So now we're going to the next lesson, which is to form and use irregular plurals, right? So remember we said with irregular plurals, right, there is basically no rule that you need to follow. You are just going to have to remember each one, right? So even as, let's say, as a facilitator or a teacher, I can tell you that this is how you need to remember, for example, the irregular plurals, because the word changes constantly, right? Different words, the plural forms would be different to one another, right? Sometimes the singular as well as the plural form would be the same. So some plurals are irregular, and that is why we call it irregular, because they don't follow rules. You are just going to have to remember each one. So, as much as the wording changes with irregular plurals, right? Some plural forms are also the same as the singular forms, right? So if the singular word is, for example, or the singular thing is, for example, deer. So if we say this is a deer, right, which is an animal. So we're referring to one deer, one animal, right? But now if we want to say that there are three deer running there, right? And then we can say a deer is a deer, right? One deer, many deer. Same with sheep. We have one sheep, more than one, two, three, 10 sheep. Not sheeps, sheep. So you have one sheep and you have many, a lot, 10, 5 sheep. So the singular word sheep as well as the plural word sheep, it stays the same. The same with fish. One fish, many fish, right? One fish, many fish. So the word stays the same, right? So the singular as well as the plural word stays the same. And then we said that some plural forms, they change the spelling, right? And we made an example of child. We have one child. And if we want to make mention of two or more, then we will say children. Not childs. We don't say two childs, three childs. We say children. So one child, two or more children. One mouse, two or more, or a lot, or many mice, right? Not mouses, but mice. The same with woman. Woman, one woman. And look specifically at this word. You see, almost like man within that word. This refers to one man. So it's woman. It's like saying woman, right? But if we're referring to more than women, more than one woman, then we say women, and there the word changes the e, right? And these are irregular plurals, right? Where we say that they do not follow any rules. You are just going to have to remember each one. All right. So now if we look at the sentence over here, it says complete the sentence with the correct plurals. Some people whiten their tooth with special powder. So people, does people refer to one or more, right? So people refers to more than one person, right? So if more than one person whitens their, do we say they whiten their tooth, or we need to basically find the plural form of the word tooth. So we need to find the plural form of the word tooth. So some people whiten their tooth. So what is the plural form of tooth? So we need to find the plural of tooth. And the plural of tooth is, so we can say some people whiten their teeth, right? So teeth is the plural form of tooth. One tooth, more than one, many, two or more teeth, right? One tooth, two or more teeth. So we basically have to change the word in the bracket to make it plural. The same with some animals use their teeth to gaze on the grass. So teeth. All right, so now many farmers use machines now instead of ox. What do you think is the plural form of ox? What do you think is the plural form of ox? Irregular plural of ox. So many farmers use machines now instead of ox. And if we find, or if we basically write down or identify the plural form of ox, yes, and then we say it is oxen. So well done. Yes, it is oxen, right? So one ox, more than one oxen. So now farmers, they are using machines or tractors or something, right, instead of oxen. Oxen refers to two or more ox. So many years ago, ox used to do all the production work on the farms. All right, so now we're going to our test where we are going to form and use irregular plurals. All right, so we are going to complete the sentence with the correct plural, right? So the word is in bracket, and then we are going to have to write down the plural form, or let's say we're going to select the plural form of the word in bracket. So the sheep are grazing in that field. So is the correct plural sheep or sheeps? So the sheep or sheeps are grazing in that field. Sheep or sheeps. One sheep, more than one sheep or sheeps. All right, so if we were to select the correct plural, right, and then we will say sheep, it stays the same. So one sheep or more than one. will still be sheep, right? We said sheep and sheep, the singular as well as the plural of sheep stays the same. So well done. Sheep is correct. The women were in complete control of the ship. So we need to change that word woman to a plural form. Is it woman or women? They took control of the ship, more than one. All right, so if we select the correct plural, right, of woman, and then it is women with an E. So well done. Women is correct. Where in the wild do ox live? Ox as the plural or oxen as the plural? So where in the wild do ox live? Ox or oxen? So where do they live? Where in the wild? So the singular is ox and the plural is oxen. So oxen is correct because oxen refers to more than one ox, right? More than one animal. So ox. Try to balance your foot on the edge of the beam. Try to balance your foot on the edge of the beam. Foot. Is it foot or feet? The plural form. Foot or feet. Foot or feet. So try to balance your foot on the edge of the beam. And the plural form of foot, yep, it is feet. So well done. Feet is correct. So feet is correct. All right, we're going to do our last one, and then you are going to do the rest on your own. According to the man, the alligator was 10 feet long. So, according to the man, the alligator was 10 feet long. So, one man says that the alligator was 10 feet long, but now we refer to it being more than one, right? Plural. So, if we make mention of the plural, and then we can say the plural is men, and men is correct. So well done. Good job. Men is correct. Men is the plural form. Good job. So now we're going back, right? So far we have been doing we said that we basically made mention of what singular as well as what a plural is. Remember, we said a singular noun refers to either one person, one place, one animal, or one thing. And a plural noun refers to more than one person, animal, places, or thing, right? And remember, we said that irregular plural nouns, right? It does not follow a rule. We don't just add an s or an es in order to show that it refers to more than one person, place, thing, or animal, right? And also with some irregular plurals, right? The singular word as well as the plural word can also stay the same, like sheep and sheep, right? Or it can basically just totally change. For example, ox and oxen, mouse and mice, right? So now that is basically referring to our irregular plural nouns, where It does not follow rules at all. You are just going to have to remember the noun. You're going to have to remember the plural form when it changes from it being singular. All right, so now we are going to do an activity, right? And on we're going to do an activity on a plus classes.ca. So you're going to log into a plus classes.ca. So a plus classes.ca, because we are going to do an activity on there. All right, so you're going to a plus classes.ca, and then you're going to learning materials, right? And then you're going to select grade 4, and then you're going to scroll down up until you get to language arts. And then we're going to choose the second workbook. So here we have the first, second, and third one. We're going to use the second workbook, which is grammar practice workbook. All right, so once you have selected grammar practice workbook, and then you're going to scroll down up until you get to page 45. So you're going to scroll down up until you get to page 45. We're going to do an activity in our grammar practice book on page 45. So I'll give you time to get to page 45. All right, so once you are at page 45, right, we are now going to write down the plural forms of the words, right? So here they're saying that some nouns have special plural forms. And remember, we said that the special plural forms, it specifically means because there is no rule that we must follow where we maybe just add an S or an ES, right? So it's sometimes where the whole wording changes. So we're going to look at the words in the box. So we're going to look at these words in the box, and then we're going to choose one of those words, and then we are going to write down the plural form next to each of the singular nouns, right? So the singular nouns is already given to us. There are 20. We're not going to do all 20, we're just going to do a few. So the singular nouns are already provided for us. So we are going to select the plural forms in the box, and then we are going to write it next to each of the singular nouns. All right. So the first one is man. Man. We need to say we need to choose or select the plural form of man from the box. Man. So what is the plural form of man? We'll start with something that we have basically been using all the time. Man. So we need to choose one of these words in the box. And we need to write it next to the singular form. All right, so if we were to choose the correct word, then we will say the plural form of man is men, right? So we will write men next to it. What is the plural form of child? One child, more than one. Do we say childs, or what is the plural form? We need to choose from the box. One child, two or more. All All right, so we'll say one child, two or more children. And we'll do one more. And 1 foot, right? And then we will say more than 1 feet, right? So we're only going to do that 3, right? So you can do this activity on your own, right? You can do this activity on your own. This is in the grammar practice book. And this is on a+classes.ca under learning materials. And then it is on page 45. Page 45. And then you can complete the rest of the words where you're going to choose the correct plural form from the box and write it next to its singular noun. All right, so that is now the end of our lesson on irregular plural nouns. Thank you very much for joining the class and thank you very much for interacting. You should have an amazing evening further. Goodbye.